Hey everyone, I'm Colin and this is Colin's Comics Column. I finally got caught up, I hope, on the current run of Superman. I just read Superman number 50, and I have to say it ended in exactly the way I wish it had been written the entire time that it had been going on. Speaking of Superman, my editor tells me that I can't just keep telling you not to watch Batman vs. Superman and not telling you why, so I told him that it's going to be difficult for him to edit this video because I can talk for a while, but here we go. So I've been a Superman fan as long as I have been a fan of anything. The Superman, the animated series, came out when I was a kid in the 90s. Batman the animated series started first, which is probably the better show of the two, if you're looking at it from like a TV critic's perspective. But I could never really connect with Bruce Wayne or with Batman the same way I could connect with Superman, and that doesn't mean I could relate to him because I was a nerdy 10-year-old or whatever. It's not like I can identify with this journalist with the power to fly and stop bullets and all that. But what I liked about Superman is that he was this big guy who could do anything. He could do the impossible. He could fly, shoot lasers out of his eyes. He could do anything in the world. And what he chose to do was help people. He was just genuinely nice. He was a genuinely good person. And when I saw that, it made me feel like I could be like Superman. I fell in love with Superman because he made me want to be a better person. And most people, maybe not Lex Luthor, but most people, when they see someone with all of that power, using it as a source for compassion instead of a source for greed or avarice, it gives them hope for what they can do in their own life. They might not have the same power as Superman, but they have the same opportunities to be nice to other people. And I think that's what makes Metropolis a nice place to live. So that's why I really started falling in love with Superman. And because I've always been such a Superman fan, I was so excited when Man of Steel was coming out. We saw the trailers and it looked so cool, and he was farming or whatever, and it was shot really neat and it looked super pretty. And it felt like the Superman movie I have wanted since the first time I saw Superman 2, which, side note, is my favorite Superman movie. You should all watch Superman 2. It also features Zod and way better than Man of Steel. So I thought oh, this is great. This is going to be the best Superman movie since Superman 2. Maybe it's the best Superman movie of all time. It looks so good. Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, I feel like they're gonna do a good job. And then I started watching it and it was a constant disappointment. It's just disappointment after disappointment as you're watching it. So when Superman breaks Zod's neck, I wanted to leave the theater because at this point, Superman is no different than Zod. He kills someone to get his way. It's the same tactics as Zod. It's showing that Superman can't do the impossible. He can't save the day and do the right thing. It's breaking down what Superman is. It's saying that in this world, being good isn't good enough. It's saying that to Zack Snyder, Superman is weak. The idea of Superman as someone who does the impossible is itself impossible. Superman represents really what we wish we could do in any situation that he's in. He has the power to do anything, which means he should have the power to find a better way. That is the real strength of the Superman character, to save the day in the best way possible, to show that Superman is the ideal human. That's what Superman means. Super, better than, man, human, better than us. He's supposed to be better than us. Superman 2 also features Zod and his friends. They fight and they go around the world, and Superman saves the day in a really creative way. He gets Lex Luthor, his arch nemesis, to trick them into giving up their powers. And it's that makes Superman a really amazing character. It's that Superman looks at that situation and says, I can't kill them. How can I stop them? I know. We'll trick them into losing their powers. And Man of Steel feels like a diatribe against Superman. It feels just like a rant about how terrible the character of Superman is. It feels like this shrine to the idea that Superman is a broken character. And Batman vs. Superman I'm not going to see, and I don't want you to see, because I don't want that to be the foundation for the DC movie universe. I want good DC movies. I want movies that can tell stories derived from their characters, who save the day, and this gritty kind of cynical Superman is not the Superman that I want represented in movies. I want a Superman that's full of hope. I want a Superman that the citizens of Metropolis see flying through the sky and say, I can be a better person myself. I'm going to be a better person today. Maybe we'll get that from the Wonder Woman movie, but yeah, I can't get excited about a Zack Snyder property after that, the catastrophe of Man of Steel. I mean, the guy made Watchmen, and they give him Superman. There could not be more different DC properties than Watchmen and Superman. Watchmen is about like being grumpy and scowling and how the world sucks. It's a cynical comic book universe. Heroes die in that. It's tough being, there aren't heroes like Superman. There's one guy that has superpowers in the world and a bunch of other guys that are just doing their best. It's not like an idealistic take on superheroes. It's a grimy, cynical take, and I know there's a lot of complaints about the movie, but like Zack Snyder might have been the right choice for that movie. But all of the reasons that make him a good choice for Watchmen make him a terrible choice for Superman, because Superman is supposed to represent our best selves, and if our best selves are murdering people, then what does that say about us? So please don't see Batman vs. Superman. Maybe they will fire Zack Snyder and he can go back to making movies about Spartans cutting each other's heads off, because I enjoyed that. Colin's Comics.